965 covers writing an equation of a line in slope-intercept form given the slope in 1 point or 2 points. So here we have our first example here. We have a couple steps. Step 1, this is for when you write an equation given the slope and 1 point. When you're given slope and 1 point, here's the steps we need to follow. First step, find the y-intercept. Input information into the equation y equals mx plus b. Step 2, write the equation in slope-intercept form. Here we go. Write an equation of a line that passes through 2, 1. So we know 2 is an x value, 1 is a y value, and it has a slope of 3. So we're going to input that information into the equation y equals mx plus b. In that equation, we know our m value is 3, and our x value, well, here's our x and y. It tells us our x and y are 2 and 1. So I'm going to substitute in for x 2, and in for y, I'm going to substitute 1 plus b. So in this problem, as you can see, we are solving for b. We get 1 equals 3 times 2 is 6 plus b. Solve for b. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides, and we get negative 5 equals b. Not finished here. The second step is go ahead and write the equation in slope-intercept form. So we now know the slope is 3 and the intercept is negative 5. So your equation in slope-intercept form is y equals 3x minus 5, your b value. Same situation here in example 2. So again, use that point, negative 2, 5. Put your x and y value above it. The slope here is 3. So we get y equals mx plus b. Input the information we know. So I'm going to put in my slope first, in for m. Substitute in for x and y, that is your plot, your ordered pair. So in for y we have 5 equals 3, and in for x is negative 2 plus b. Again, we take those points from that ordered pair that we are given, and we are at 5 equals negative 6 plus b, get b alone, add 6 to both sides, and we have 11 equals b. Not done with this because the instructions say to write an equation in slope-intercept form there. So we're going to go ahead and use the slope 3 and the intercept 11. We get y equals 3x plus 11. Example 3, now I want you to go ahead and pause the video and work through it just like you did in examples 1 and 2. So first thing we'll do is pull out the slope. M is negative 1. Here's your x and y, and carry on from there. So we'll start out with our equation y equals mx plus b, and we'll substitute in our slope right away, negative 1. Now substitute in for x and y. So our equation is now negative 7 equals negative 1 times 4 plus b. Following our computation, we get negative 7 equals negative 4 plus b, add 4 to both sides, and we find out that our b value is negative 3. Write it in slope-intercept form. Here we go, y equals negative 1x minus 3, or another way we could say it is y equals negative x minus 3. Either way would be acceptable. Example 4 here, we're going to try a little curve at you. It says write an equation given 2 points. So we aren't given any slope. So the first step that you need to take is find the slope. And you'd find that slope by that slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Maybe write that down on the paper there. And then step 2 and 3 are just the same process that you had in the previous 3 examples when you were given slope. So the first one says write an equation of a line that passes through each pair of points, 3, 1, and 2, 4. Put those head above the points. There's x1, y1, x2, y2. So our first step, step 1, is to go ahead and find the slope So I'm going to draw that template in there. And I'm going to take this equation that we have up here, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and substitute in those values. So my top left y2 value is 4, top right y1 value is 1, bottom left x2 value is 2, and my x1 value is 3. And I come up with 4 minus 1 is 3, over 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Therefore, my slope is negative 3. Use that information for step 2. And again, that's just like you did in the previous examples. Use that equation y equals mx plus b and input your information into the equation there. So we have y equals, in for slope is negative 3x plus b. Now you need to substitute in for x and b. I will let you know it doesn't matter if you use this plot or this plot. Either one you use, you will still get the same outcome. So I'm going to go ahead and use this first plot here, and I'm going to substitute 1 in for y equals negative 3 in for x is 3 plus b. So I come up with 1 equals negative 9 plus b. You can get b by itself, so add 9 to both sides, and we find out b equals 10. Your last and final step is step 3, and that's basically put the puzzle together. Put your m and b together. Well, here's m. M is 3. B is 10. Write it in slope-intercept form. Sorry, this is negative 3, not 3. But in slope-intercept form, it would be y equals negative 3x plus 10. Example 2 is very similar to example 4. You should be getting pretty good at it. The only step really different from the first 3 to the last problem is that you had to find the slope. So again, I'm going to have you pause the video after we go ahead and put these headers up here. In your notes, make sure that your ordered pairs say the same as mine, negative 4 and negative 2, negative 5, negative 6. I think on some of the packets they were off. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2. We'll write this template down here for step 1, and I want you to go ahead and pause the video right now and work through it and see what we come up with. When you input those values, this is why we write that template in red, because now we have a minus minus, which is a plus, and again on the bottom minus minus, which is a plus. So we get negative 4 over negative 1, so my slope here would be 4. Go ahead and use that in step 2 now. Plug it into y equals mx plus b, and then check back in to see how you did solving for that b value. So we've input our slope. Next thing, again, it doesn't matter what ordered pair you use, this one or that one, you'll still get the same answer. I'm going to go ahead and substitute that first one in. So I've substituted everything in, working down the paper here. We get negative 2 equals negative 16 plus b. Get b alone, add 16 to both sides. We have 14 equals b. You have your b value, you have your m value. Write it in slope-intercept form for step 3. You get y equals 4x plus 14. On to our last example. The only thing different here is you're going to be working with some bigger numbers. Airfares, the table shows the average fares for domestic flights in certain years. Write an equation that could be used to predict airfares if airfares continue to increase at this rate. They're increasing at this rate. Remember, rate is a slope, and it's an increase, so your slope should be positive. Down below it says let x represent the number of years in 2000 and let y represent the airfare. Write an equation for the line that passes through 5 and 366 and 6 and 378. Might help to go ahead and slide these coordinates down so you can write your headers above them. So we have our x1, y1, x2, y2. And then go ahead and follow your steps. So go ahead and pause the video, work through it. Following substitution, your equation should look something similar to mine. Doing your computation, you would wind up with 12 over 1, so your slope is 12. You're going to steal your slope. Step 2, plug it into y equals mx plus b. Remember, use your slope in one of the points to find the b value. I'm going to go ahead and plug in the first point. So I will have my y value is 366 equals m. My slope is 12. My x value is 5, because I'm using that first ordered pair, equals b. So 366 equals 60 plus b. Get b alone. Subtract 60 from both sides. And we have 306 equals b. And the last step is to go ahead and bring your slope 12 and your intercept 306 together, and we get y equals 12x plus 306. This will conclude lesson 965.